Tasmania's economy has rebounded particularly well after those pandemic fears. And to discuss more about what is happening across the state in terms of business, we're lucky enough to have in the studio Michael Bailey from the TCCI. Welcome, Michael. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Rachel.
All economic indicators are showing that Tasmania is going gangbusters.
Yeah, look, aren't we lucky? The state has really bounced out of COVID really strongly, and that's on the back of some great state government policy and federal policy too. But I think the world's woken up to Tasmania. I think not only do mainlanders want to move here, but we're hearing so much interest out of people from overseas too. So it's a pretty exciting time to be in Tasmania.
And how does that impact on business? Because obviously there were some nervous moments there during the height of the pandemic, but things are still continuing and there's lots of economic development underway.
Look, there really is, and we're hearing across our membership that for most it's really still strong. So there are certain areas that are going to be a battle for anywhere in the world, things like party hire places and events for a little while, but really for most business in Tasmania it's going well. And what we're seeing too is a lot of development still happening around the state, and that development will really drive the economy in Tasmania for years to come. Things like the Bridgewater Bridge in Hobart and the Living Cities program in Devonport, plus also the university move in Launceston are great examples of things that are really happening. But also the big stuff like Project Marinus, that when that gets up, which is the second interconnector across Bass Strait for energy, we'll see the northwest coast boom for 30 or 40 years.
Yeah, so that's big news for job
Huge.
creation.
Yeah, huge.
And there's also some other key projects occurring on the northwest coast.
Look, it's interesting on the northwest coast. We're seeing the resurgence of really smart forestry. So there's a new forest or timber mill going into Burnie that will be terrific. But I love the story of the northeast and of mountain biking, how that's changed the northeast dramatically. And look, I was there on the weekend and saw how many people with mountain bikes are going through, how the property market's changed there as well. That towns that you couldn't give property away some years ago are now going so well. So it's a great time.
And in the north, obviously, the university project is significant for transforming Launceston. What about down south in Hobart? What's happening there?
Look, there are a lot of things too, and certainly the university itself is doing a lot of movement in Hobart too. Their STEM project, which will be a massive undertaking in the CBD, is moving along quite nicely. But the Bridgewater Bridge, I know it sounds a bit boring, but
we've talked about it for such a long time.
I know, but look, that will be the biggest project in Tasmania. We'll see not only huge amounts of revenue go through the local market, but once again we'll see the local economy boom. But look, Hobart's one of the most livable cities in the world now. It's a city that people right across the country want to move to, and it's got a pretty impressive housing market as well. So it's now about to move above Brisbane as one of the hottest markets. So it leaves, I think, only Melbourne and Sydney for us to track down next.
Well, I'm sure we're tracking for them. And just finally, obviously the budget coming up, we're looking back in a deficit, but not as bad as what perhaps the predictions were first and foremost.
Without a doubt. Look, Tasmania's done very well, and every state in Australia and every country in the world is looking down the barrel of deficits. We know that because of COVID. But Tasmania is doing a lot better than we thought it would do, and certainly even the Premier was speaking at an event with us last week and saying how proud he is of how they're bouncing back so strongly. So good times for Tasmania looking forward as well.
Yeah, are you asking for anything in the budget in particular?
We always ask for things in the budget, Rachel, you know that, and we have a hit list of things we'll be asking for the next one. Don't worry about that.
Okay, well look forward to seeing what that is in more detail soon. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Michael. Michael Bailey joining us there, and I'm sure we'll have him back to discuss more things in detail into the future.